Well, hello there. This is Wagtunes, and this is Jerry. Hello, Jerry. Hello. And today what we're going to do is a little review of TGC 2 that we got to play today. Wasn't that a lot of fun, Jerry? Oh yeah, lots of fun. Anyway, before we start, would you like a drink? Yes, please. Where's my soda? Right here. What are you trying to do? Kill me? Sorry. Anyway, okay. So today I downloaded TGC 2 and fired it up, and I don't want to make this too long because there's really there's so much to go over. First of all, let me tell you about the experience as a whole. The game itself appears to be much smoother than TGC 1. The whole dynamics, the whole physics of it, it just seems to flow better. I don't know if that explains it correctly. I don't know if I'm using the right words, but it just seems to flow nicely. The way the ball lands and bounces and rolls, it just seems smoother. Putting seems smoother. Driving the ball when you're on seems smoother. The game itself, as far as the physics, is amazing. It's such an improvement from TGC 1. That alone, I'm just absolutely thrilled. Okay, let me go through the various steps as far as like from tee to green and go over all the different shots where I feel things are not too much harder, where I feel things are much harder. Because there are things in this game that are definitely more difficult than in TGC 1. For starters, I never got past the player clubs. I didn't even attempt the tour clubs. I started with these standard clubs. I played Little Brook Manor to begin with. Now, I played it on TGC 1 earlier and shot 14 under. Playing it on TGC 2 with the standard clubs, I shot 7 under. That was mostly because the distances of the clubs are so severely cut that it just makes it very difficult to get close to the pin. As far as hitting straight, that wasn't the problem. It's very easy to hit straight with the standard clubs, but hitting for any kind of distance, forget it. It's impossible. So you have no chance of competing with standard clubs, even if you can hit the ball straight and accurate. The distance is just not there. Okay, so I scrapped that. I then went up to the player club, played on Little Brook Manor again and shot 6 under. Now, while the distances were more accurate, actually the distances with player clubs are the exact distances as for TGC 1. There's no difference. Where the difference is, and I won't say it's slight, but it's not extreme. There is a noticeable difference in the accuracy as far as how accurate you have to be with your swing, especially with the backswing. I noticed a lot of shots, my backswing, the software would say, was too slow going back. Most of the downswings were perfect, but backswings, too slow. Where I seem to be off a little bit is I'm noticing that my shots are falling just a little bit right of center, pretty consistently. So I don't know if I'm going to have to just compensate for that, or maybe that'll straighten itself out. Not a big distance from center, but just slightly off, consistently. The drives are not difficult. Not overly. Approach shots, okay, now, a lot of people are thinking that math is going to be eliminated from this game. No, math is not going to be eliminated from this game, especially not on the off the tee and not with approach shots. The wind, the elevations, I did the same calculations I did with TGC 1, and for the most part, shots were landing fairly close to where I expected. There were a few times where I was a bit puzzled, where it seemed that what should have been just a very slight little bit of loft seemed to have more of an effect on the ball than I expected, where shots would fall a good 5 to 10 yards short. So I'm going to have to get used to that. But for the most part, yeah, you can still do your math, and if you do it accurately, you're going to come very close to the pin. I had a ton of shots that were within, 10 feet of the hole with no problem. Flopping around the green, not significantly more difficult. I didn't use extreme loft with flopping anyway, so there's not a problem there. Where I find the biggest difference is with the chip shots, because they took away the 9-iron supreme loft up to the sky, so you can hit the ball 4 yards. That's gone. And honestly, as far as chipping goes, I'm totally lost. I mean, forget it. I I have no clue how to chip. So that I'm going to have to work on a lot. That is probably, in my opinion, the most difficult part of this game now is the chip shot, because you don't have that maximum loft anymore. But aside from that, putting is... I was making 20, 25-foot putts like that I wouldn't have made in TGC 1. Now, I don't know whether it's because the greens were easy or what, but I found putting to be not much more difficult than in the original game. I still had my fair share of putts that would just go right by the hole, by inches, because that's the story of my life. But I didn't find putting difficult at all. It seemed to be pretty much the same for me. Maybe that's because of the system I use, I don't know. But I didn't find putting difficult at all. But like I said, the game itself, as far as the physics of the ball, you could just tell by the way the ball bounces, the way the whole thing flows, is just, it's amazing. I really, really love TGC 2. I've got no complaints. I think the scores are going to be raised a bit. I think the really, really great players are going to figure chipping out. I think they're going to... I don't think they're going to be shooting, if they were shooting, like, say, for example, 57 on a medium difficulty course, I don't think they're going to be doing that. At least not for a while, maybe low 60s. But then again, I don't know. We have some really great players out there. My last round, I shot on a medium difficulty course, and I shot 8 under. That, for me, is about normal. Maybe a couple of strokes off. So, but I wasn't lost out there. It wasn't like I was hitting the ball and I was like, oh my God, this is horrible. No, it was fine. I have to concentrate a lot more driving the ball on approach shots, because if you rush it, if you rush your shot, if you're not fluid with your motion, that ball can go off by a bit. I had a couple of errant shots, not many, but out of the 3 rounds of golf I played, I had 2 or 3 errant shots, which I would have never had in TGC 1. So I would say probably about maybe 5 to 10% of your shots per round are going to go off until you get really good at this. That could be a stroke or 2 here or there. But nothing drastic. Now, tour clubs, no clue. Don't even ask me about tour clubs, because I didn't attempt them. I have no desire to. And here's my reasoning for that. In TGC 1, a driver goes 265 yards. Well, player clubs in TGC 2, a driver goes 265 yards. So I'm content with that. If that's as far as the ball goes on a drive, I'm not going to complain. Now, if they start making courses to punish people who don't use the tour clubs, so for example, where you need to drive the ball 300 yards, well, then the people who are on the player clubs are going to be screwed. But I don't know. I don't know what kind of courses are going to be designed. I'll tell you this much. There is no way in heck that they're going to be able to design the same kind of courses as far as difficulty that they did in TGC 1 and TGC 2. Because if they do, people are going to be rage quitting all over the place. The game's hard enough in getting the feel for the shot without tricking up courses. Really. You don't need to do that anymore. I didn't play anything that I would consider overly difficult. And like I said, Little Brook Matter, I went from 14 under to 7 under. So, take it for whatever it means to you. You don't have to trick up greens anymore. You don't have to make fairways the width of pinheads. I mean, it's not necessary. The game has been sufficiently toughened up. I won't say significantly. Well, it could be significantly if you use tour clubs. But for player clubs, the game is between slightly and moderately more difficult in that little area right there. It is not very, very hard. It isn't. Not with player clubs. At least not for me. So, what did you think of TGC 2, Jerry?
God, you talk so damn much.
I'm sorry. I'm really excited about this game. Didn't you love the game? Didn't you think the game was great?
Did I get to play the game?
Well, no, but you got to watch me play it.
Yeah, that's a lot of fun.
Well, anyway, there is my review of TGC 2. Like I said, I have no complaints. I am very, very happy with the new game. HB, you did a great job. My hat's off to you. Jerry's hat's off to you. And Doily, if you want more pictures of Jerry, we'll stick him in some kind of monkey suit.
Now, wait a minute.
Okay, all right, we won't do that. Well, anyway, that's it for this edition of Wagtunes and Jerry. I hope you liked my review. And for those of you who are waiting for me to rage about the game, well, yeah. See you next time.